Hey, it's Topher right here on Geek Public Radio, coming at you from the pit of hell. We have a lot to talk to you about, so stay tuned.
You're listening to the GPR podcast, where two old guys, talk about new games, movies, most things geeky, and generally be old in front of your eyes. Not cool. Now, here's Topher and Crazy Chris, being all old.
What is up, everybody out there in Geek Nation? You are joining us on another lovely edition of Geek Public Radio, right here on geekpublicradio.com, also on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook Live. For those who are watching, we thank you very, very much. Before we get too far into the show, make sure you click the like button and the subscribe button, and make sure you ring-a-ling-a-ding that belly button to be notified every single time that we go live, so you never miss a thing. We talk about, as the introduction so eloquently put, we are just two old heads talking about gaming, geek culture, pop culture, and just general nonsense that happens in our lives. And we are so thankful for every single one of you that join us each and every week. We have kind of a crazy thing to talk about. Like Topher said, it is definitely more sweltering than a sunspot in here. It is hot in this studio. The AC hasn't made its way around this way yet. Most of central Indiana has hit this awesome heat wave, which is great for those of us who like warmer weather, but for individuals like Topher and Jassel, this is just the worst. So hopefully you guys are staying safe and cool wherever you may be. And if you are not, might I suggest a refreshing Rip It? Come on, Rip It.
No.
This is like the 9,000th time I've mentioned you on my show. I would like some notifications, please. I drink you. I would like you to pay me to drink you. That
Pay me my money.
Listen, under a different circumstance, that might be like a horrific statement to make. Like if I were a vampire, that would be that'd be some kink shit. I want you to pay me to drink you.
But it is hotter than balls in here.
It is.
So this might not be a very long show.
It's not going to be. I feel like we're like at the 25, maybe 30-minute mark. I think we're going to be good there. But that's okay. So anybody that is watching, guys, if you could do us a favor to screw up the algorithms and to make sure that YouTube doesn't have any excuses. If you are watching this show right now, we ask that you stick around for just a couple minutes. Throw us on in the background if you don't want to actually pay attention to everything that we say. Just hang around for us. Give us 5 minutes of your time. Once you do that, then the algorithms at YouTube will have no choice but to acknowledge our moral and intellectual supremacy in the geek landscape, and then we will be dominating your cycle. So in addition to that, guys, I don't say this very often, share the show. The more you share the show and like the show, the more views that we get, the more likely it is to appear on people's pages when they do search for Geek Public Radio. For the amount of views and the hours and the videos that we have, when you type in Geek Public Radio, we are the number one thing that pops up finally. We stopped being like number 3 on the list for like 5-year-old channels. It was dumb. Revel Radio doesn't even appear anymore, by the way. I don't know if I told you that.
No, it's been deleted.
Yeah, I was actually looking for some videos that were on there, so I gotta track them down. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so again, thankful for every single one of you. You guys are awesome, and we do have a chat on Facebook and on Twitch and other places. So if you want to talk to us during the show,
and it does pipe right in, and we can see it right here on the screen.
Yep. He can see it better than I can, but I can kind of read it. My eyes aren't that bad.
And if we like it so much, we will actually put it onto the stream.
Yep. So anything that you guys say, we can respond. So that is something that we can do. But yeah, I walked in today, Topher, and I saw you.
All right,
I instantly called it out. I instantly called it out too. Go ahead.
I got bored. I've been stuck behind the editing thing, trying to salvage what I can of our audio situation, and decided that I'm just going to try something that I have never tried. I've seen people talk about it and whatnot, but I was like, screw it, it's free to play.
He was playing Counter-Strike Go. He was playing CSGO. And I walked in the door. I saw what he was playing. I looked at it and instantly was like, Counter-Strike? You're playing Counter-Strike. Okay. Okay, well, I've lost you. You're gone because now you're not going to stop playing it because that is the crack of the gamer universe. So you'll start playing it and you're like, oh, I can get all these collectibles and they're worth money, like real life money.
No,
and
I'm still stuck on the Fallout thing. I'm not a first person shooter, but I was going to try it out just to, and this is that was the first game that I actually started where I was killing people instead of like just insta dying every time.
No, Counter-Strike is a pretty intuitive game. Like there's not like really too many wonky
like no scoping and
there's not really a lot of wonky mechanics. There are some.
I kept trying to
easily manipulated, and it is bot
heavy,
and it is also
a lot of them have their name. It says Bot Tom or Bot Tim or Bot Bob.
But it also has mods. Modders are huge in that game. So there's a lot of things that you'll just see some stuff and you're like, that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. But on top of all like the heat and stuff, like I had oral work done on the face hole. So
you got
the talkie, I got some oral. The talkie box isn't quite up to snuff. So if you guys notice my exuberance and excitement might be a little minimal, that's exactly why, because it hurts to yell and cough and hiccup and all that stuff. So I'm trying not to do any of those things. Yay.
But you made a statement that made me laugh when I got off the phone with you.
Which one?
When it was that, well, I'm going to go get this thing done, and then I'm going to go eat.
I said I was going to go eat knowing full damn well I wasn't going to go eat. Like, I literally was like, yeah, we're going to do this and go eat.
Like, you're complaining of dry socket because that's how you get dry socket is like immediately putting something on it and it just pulling it right back out.
Yeah, that's It's a long story. This is 2 dry sockets in a row. So
no food.
I have this is not me flexing. This is not me. Oh, my balls are so big. No, it's I have a higher pain tolerance with things that are like with my mouth than most people do. I don't know if it's because I've been in so many fist fights or when I was a kid. Right. But because of that, when I get dry socket, it's irritating more than painful.
Right.
So I don't recognize right away that that's what it is. I'm like, oh my, when I'm recovering, I don't realize I have dry socket. Like I'm just walking around going, man, that's kind of tender. It'll be all right. It's just 10 ounces. It's like 4 days old. It'd be fine. And then finally, like Wednesday rolls around, and I was like, I think I got a dry socket. So I look in there, and there's some infection, and there's definitely big holes in there. I was like, oh, for crying out loud. And I'm doing all this because I got to get extra work done, and I'm trying to get, anyways. So I got it all cleaned out, and I did the, I don't have Oragel, and I don't have anything else, so I did the next best thing, and I just took the Kraken and put it to my face and held it over my tooth, and anything over 90 proof will actually numb you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that, but that's what they used to do back in the day. Now, how do you think the hillbillies got dental care? It's not the greatest, but a lot of them don't get infections and stuff because they'd put the moonshine in their mouth, numb it up, yank their teeth out, and they would just keep moonshine on it for a couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and it would heal.
Avoid hangovers.
Yeah, and avoid hangovers, yeah. And then, of course, the mountain collapse where they'd be sitting up there going, okay, well, I got to slow down because I don't want to kill my kidneys. And then they fall off the mountain because they sober up. But anyways, I said all that to say I got that taken care of on Thursday. An hour after I left, it popped right back out. Like they're filled. They put wadding and they put some paste over the top of it. One of them just popped right back out. So I went again today to get it filled again. And I looked at her and I said, I don't care what you have to do. Super glue it shut. Sew me up. Whatever the case is. I said, this is obnoxious. I hate it. Just fix it. She looks at me. She goes, okay. I was like, cool. So she took me back there, numbed me up, sewed my mouth. I just sewed everything up in there. Like
sewed your mouth shut.
She sewed it all up. And I looked at it. She's got like a cross stitch and everything else. Like she sewed it up. I was like, all right, if it breaks this time, I'm not going back. I'm just going to shoot myself in the face and be done with it. I have the world's most rebellious mouth, in case anybody who hasn't watched this show might attest. But yeah, so it's been a little bit more sore than normal. But anyways, speaking of, yay, there's you guys' dive into Crazy Chris's personal life. There you go. I don't do that very often. But speaking of first-person shooters like Counter-Strike and Fallout 76, I actually finally managed to have enough time to sit down and play and beat Tiny Tina's. Made it through the campaign. I'm starting the DLC now. And I got a couple of things. Just a couple of things I want to talk about. Not Fallout. Borderlands 1 and 2 made me feel some things, right? They had great stories that played with my emotions ish. Like you could see the twists coming. You knew something was going to happen, but they did enough to keep it entertaining and interesting. So kudos to those two things. Pre-sequel did some okay things. But again, it still made me feel something, right? It was a good narrative. Decent villain. Then you have 3, which similar to pre-sequel in that it elicited some feelings. It had a decent narrative. A lot of fans complained about it. I'm not one of them. I thought it was a really well-constructed game. And a lot of the complaints were over the engagement of the villains versus the narrative of the story, which is fine. But whenever you follow a game that had, in my opinion, one of the greatest villains of any franchise, it's very difficult to replace that. Mm-hmm. Very difficult. And I think they did a decent job trying. I'll give them their credit. They tried. I hated them almost as much as I loved Jack. I hated them almost as much as I loved Jack, which that's good. If you can't make me love the villain, make me hate him. And I did. I hated them. So that was great. Little drawn out at the end, but yeah. Wonderlands is different. I didn't really love the villain. I didn't really love any of the characters. I am attached to the series mainstays characters because those are the recognizable faces, so I'm attached to them. But I didn't have any type of feeling when it was over. It was just kind of like, it's over. And I looked back at it and I'm like, you know what?
That was something.
That was something. I played a game, but I had fun. And then this really kind of would have dawned on me. I honestly think they made that game to just be fun. It wasn't overly preachy. There were some social messages and things like that. And it wasn't overly preachy. There was a couple times I was like, all right, guys, like there's inclusion and then there's pandering. You guys are really close to the pandering line right now. But I digress. Overall, good game. I liked it. I'd recommend people play it if they like Borderlands. Go ahead and play it. 100%. And there was something at the very end of the game that smacked me in the face really, really hard because I didn't expect it. Because there was no mention of it ever occur. There was no lead up to what happened. And it was just it's a simple exchange between two characters. And it's a past series note. Without giving you spoilers, it's a past series note. And it was an exchange between them. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, I was content. The game was over. Why did you do this to me? But it was good. I liked it. Great series nods. Good staples. Nice throwbacks. Good callbacks to it. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. I would recommend it. If you like Borderlands, definitely play it from start to finish. It was great. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So I said all that to say this. So speaking of being placed with the heartstrings and being manipulated, right? And this is the thing that a lot of games do. There's a lot of things in pop culture like to do is they like to manipulate you into feeling a certain way. But for those of you out there who may not know, did you know that the U.S. government had an effective psychic spying unit? These remote viewers were used in a number of missions throughout the 1980s and early 1990s. Now, trained by former operations and training officer for that same unit, a private consulting firm called MindTech utilizes these techniques to solve problems and offer solutions that no current information system can. Some practical examples will include locating missing persons, medical treatments and cures, finding a person's optimal mate. See, I still screwed it up. Obtaining information for assistance regarding their current profession, stock market and futures trading information, and so much more. So for a free consultation, make sure you visit www.mindtechmind.com. That is mindtechmind.com, a world without secrets. Thank you so much to MindTech Mind for sponsoring the show. We do very much appreciate it.
Very much.
You guys can check them out. They are pretty cool. I've checked out their website. I do not get free consultations because I'm I'm that guy. So, but we have talked to the person that runs it. They're a very cool person. They seem pretty genuine. So if you guys have any interest whatsoever in checking out a psychic that might be able to help you out, that is definitely way to go over there at mindtechmind.com. They're pretty awesome. So thank you so much to them for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it.
And I'm stuck with wearing the my old shirt that likes to, if I move, it becomes unbuttoned.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
thought you were talking about the
slowly-
one that like rides up on your belly and I get to see the belly wave. So that's
no, like
my
I
favorite.
literally, I move and the bottom buttons just go click, click, click. And next thing you know, I have like one button right here and everything else like my stomach.
It's
hanging
your
out.
stripper shirt, bro.
Yeah.
It's your party. You know what? It's your party shirt. That's what we're gonna start calling it, your party shirt. You know how girls are the party tit when they lay down at night and then like that one tit's like, like that's what you have. You have it literally. Yeah. They're just like they wake up and like one boob's over here, the other one's over here.
And then they fought in the middle of the night and
Yeah.
didn't want to.
Well, yeah, one threw the other one out of the shirt. Like I swear to God, that's how it happens. But yeah, you got a party shirt. So apparently your shirt just wants to be flapping in the breeze. It's telling you to be free, brother. Free the nip.
Free the nip.
Free the nip.
So they have been pushing. I know it's not your favorite, but they have been pushing that and gearing up for the release of Wrath of Lich King Classic. And that will be this year. Next year will be the Dragonflight expansion.
So next year's the Dragonflight. So this year's Wrath of Lich King.
Mm-hmm.
So a re-release.
I'm actually looking forward to it. Like I've gotten back on. It was a long time that I was off.
Long time ago.
So I grabbed on one of my old characters and hopped on and started just doing nothing but farming, and that's kind of what I got stuck doing forever. It was just, and it wasn't because the game made me. It was I was like, okay, well, I am way above these things, but I when I was playing the character, I neglected all of my professions.
It's fair.
So I was like, okay, like on my druid, I got my skinning up, and the only reason I took leather working was so I can take the ruined scraps and make leather, so I could put it in the auction house and make money. I literally had 500 to 600 gold in a week pass through my hands, which is a lot for like.
No. I get it. I know, but I'm so used to the higher numbers on other games that I'm like,
right. Well,
that doesn't sound like a lot. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's pretty substantial, honestly, in a week.
Well, I mean, and I actually treated it like I was back grub hubbing. I'd hop on for a couple hours,
grind a little bit.
I would do some stuff, put that shit in a mailbox or in the auction house, get myself back in another position, log out, go do some other stuff, work on the sound and work on the editing, come back, hop on a different character, grind a little bit, put that in the auction house, hop off. And then by the time I was done with I'd get back around to the druid and pull my money in from the mailbox. And so it was like maybe 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
For a week. And
that's not too bad.
I
mean, I probably put maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 a night on 76 or on Tina's, or like I don't play games like I used to. And I know people are like, oh my God, that's a lot of time, but it's really not as much as you think it is.
I mean, there had been times that like the bug hit me.
Apparently, by the way, the definition of gaming addiction is spending more than 2 hours a night playing a game. And I'm like, but what if you don't play every night? Because I don't. Like there's some nights I just come home, I'm like, throw something on the boob tube, man. I've got to go cook, or I've got to do dishes, or I need to go take the kids somewhere, or whatever it is. And it's, I don't feel the need to play. It's just when I'm relaxing or 12-hour, 10-hour day or whatever.
No, a gaming addiction is where you spend every bit of your time on
and money.
Yeah,
that's an important component of that. Which technically I do spend some of my money, but
no, because my wife can't live without being on a game. Like if she's home,
that's fair.
She's behind her computer playing a game.
That's fine. I'm right there. I understand that.
And,
I do.
To the point where I granted when Jared was here, he was in there playing WoW. I was in here playing WoW. She was downstairs, close to the things. I said, "Hey, listen for the beep, because we're going to be going to whatever." I put pork chops in there,
Right.
and she got so wrapped up that she didn't hear the beep until they were. It was like pork jerky.
Oh, but I bet that tasted good.
Well, Jared was like, I just kind of nibbled on it because he was the only one that could eat it. Like he's literally just like, I'm not gonna let that go to waste, and treated it like
that sounds exactly like Jared.
Like
Like
he treated it like hardtack, and it was just.
Speaking of which, I actually had there's a place, the Connor Prairie, in Indianapolis that actually they used to. I don't know if they still do. Obviously, I've been there in a very long time, but they used to give you like the hardtack biscuits, and they were awful. They were just awful. But
well, so were MREs.
No, hardtack's worse.
No.
MREs weren't that bad. MREs are not that bad.
Well,
I just 100% that there are fast food joints that I would pass up to actually eat an MRE. Like I would put them in line.
The modern MREs.
No, I still have the ones from Vietnam. They're pretty awful. I mean those are the ones that they're the exact same ones. I mean the recipes are better now.
Just say because Indiana actually has one of the suppliers for the MREs. Like they actually cook and do all of the stuff and stuff here,
which is pretty cool.
And package them and send them out.
Which space food. Space food without the paste.
You literally just kind of break it up, pour your water in a thing, and stick your pouch in there and let it warm up.
Yeah. Shout out to Frankie, Toxic Roach on TikTok, who went through all the MRE videos and was showing everybody like the different things that were in them. He would try them, and he's a cook, so he would go through and he'd be like, "Oh, this is good, this is bad, this is whatever." And I'm sitting there watching the videos, and I think I commented on it. I don't know if I did or not. I might have just been absentmindedly watching it and not said anything. But he would always do the nacho cheese. Like he'd get the nacho cheese, and he'd be like, "Oh, this is so good," and he would just rip it open and eat it. And I'm like, "Dude, throw the nacho cheese in the pouch while everything's heating, and you have hot cheese. Like, what are you doing? you have the mechanism to have hot nacho cheese, and you're just eating cheese paste." He'd be like, "Well, you put it on here," and it's like, "I don't know why it's not spreading very good."
Because it's not hot.
Because it's not hot. Like he put it on the tortilla, and it would just be like clumps of cheese, and I'm like,
jalapeno.
It's fine. But
the jalapeno.
Nobody was correcting him, and I was just like, okay, I'll say something. I thought I said something, but again, I may not have. If I didn't, Frank, I'm sorry.
I got stuck on. Speaking of that, I got stuck on the TikTok guy where he takes like old recipes from like Depression era, and
like the super skinny dude.
Yeah,
he made like a tuna cake or something like that.
Well, he made like stale bread pancakes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh God, like I might even not wait for these to this get stale. This is like excellent." I was like, I never really thought about like just mushing up bread because it's
bread. Just mix it up, mash it in a paste, and then you can literally just pour it and recook them really quick. And there's lots of stuff that people don't realize that they can do, but like in the Depression era, you had to make do, which means you had to they came up with some crazy stuff, and desperation is the mother of all invention. So people get desperate, they come up with crazy stuff. Look at these cures for cancer. A lot of these people had family members or themselves, and they were dying of cancer, and they're like, I'm gonna come up with something, and they did. And then the government sees their work, and you never heard of it again.
When I was younger and like fresh before I headed to college, I had the invention. It was like I was living off of burritos. The $1 burrito, or they're like 50 cents back then.
Yeah,
you can get them from the dollar store now.
Yeah, and they're like $1.30 or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
The ones that I'm going to get for our next Shadow
Shadowrun game. Yeah.
I could say Shadowpunk.
That sounds like a cool game.
I think I'm going to make that game.
Shadowpunk, not to be used without the written express permission of Geek Public Radio. Somebody out there's like, dude, I already copyright that. What are you talking about?
But the That's the time that to get. I would do the really bad watered down tomato soup.
Oh yeah.
Go to McDonald's, grab all the tomato.
Yeah, the ketchup.
The ketchup packets, cut it up, drain it into a thing, a little bit of water.
Yeah, mix it up. Yeah, tastes like crap, but it works.
It kept me, moving.
That's all it needs to do. There was actually a because that's the hot water used to be free, and there used to be an old homeless guy that was in Indianapolis who used to do that. It wasn't you. He would go in there and he would get hot water. He would go to the tap with his little cup and he'd get hot water, and then he would ask them for like a bowl or whatever, like a little paper bowl, and they'd bring it to him, and he would make his tomato soup, and then he would just sit there and drink tomato soup.
I found a little bit of salt and pepper.
Oh yeah, you got to put something in it, otherwise it's literally just watered down ketchup.
Right.
Hot watered down ketchup.
A little bit of salt and pepper, and if you can afford the bread,
Let me get your old stale buns.
But it's the stuff that you don't think about. Like now, looking back at it, I was like, oh wow, I can't believe I survived all of that. Like living in my car for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that now. But there's, I don't look with a great impression on people when they do that. It's just more of and I don't judge them necessarily. It's just, it depends on the reason you're there. If you're there because the entire world thinks you're a dick and nobody will let you stay with them, then I don't know. That's your bed. You made it. Lay in it. Not my problem. If you're there because you don't have any other place to go, or you're poor, or that's just what you want to do, all right, cool, good for you. If you're there because somebody put you there, as in they kind of took everything from you and you're just kind of in that desperate spot, okay, there's where my empathy begins to come through, right? Like if you lost things, I get it, that sucks. But the human part of me is like, I have a 5-foot circle. That is not in my 5-foot circle.
Like with mine was all medical stuff, like medical.
Oh, I know. Like, and I know where you're at. I'm not speaking directly to you. I'm just like, there's people out there who just live in their van because they want to, and I'm like,
well, have you seen some of the van life things?
The Reddit posts for van life, dude, they're awesome. I'm like, that's really cool. And they just drive wherever they want.
And now that the Starlink
show their butthole on OnlyFans, people pay them money. They just drive around the country showing their butthole to people and looking at mountains.
And now that Starlink has, when they did they sent all of the stuff over to the Ukraine, and they've enabled the roaming feature. People have actually mounted Starlink to their vehicles and are getting like 200 meg download speeds
wherever they go.
Yeah,
it's literally mobile internet, which is what Starlink was supposed to be.
Right, but for the longest time, you couldn't move it. Like it was registered to a space, and it had to stay in that space. If you moved, you would lose access to it because you had to re-register, and they weren't allowing you to re-register at that time.
But now they brought it all up online. Well, that was the thing. That was why they didn't bring everything online like they were supposed to, is because they were having so many problems with it. And then Ukraine happened, and Musk was like, you know what? Here, have some internet.
Now it's more expensive. They raised the prices for the monthly thing, and they raised the starter kit for.
What's the starter kit? It's $200 now.
No, the starter kit it was $499.
Yeah, it was $500,
and now it's like $699 or $599.
I would still do it.
It's $100 more for the thing, and it's $125 a month.
I would still do it, dude. Just be able to drive around the country. Honestly, just to be able to drive around the country, mount it onto your RV or your van.
Dish. But just put it on your roof
and literally
just sit there.
Yep, just drive around, dude. Have your big screen TV in there, and you could just play games just all day for whatever you want.
Zero latency.
Yeah,
I get more latency on the fiber
on your cable. Oh, you have fiber. That's right. Yeah.
More latency on the fiber than I would have if I was in Starlink.
Yeah, that's insane. Just the instantaneous transmission. We have beaten the speed of light.
So the first person shooters, that was all.
That's a joke, nerds.
That was that was always the thing. Like, well, I can't really play my games on satellite because I lag out and they're shooting me, and before I can Just the latency was so bad.
It's like the game just started, and then
it's over, and you're like,
when the
"Wait a minute,
lag,
what?"
when the lag catches up, you're dead, and you're like, what? The countdown was still going, and they're like, no, dude, the game's been over for like 3 minutes. We're actually in the next lobby. Honestly,
or it glitches, and you're like, you haven't moved, and it's like, ding, ding, ding.
Satellite.
You're like, why
Satellite is literally the Microsoft Internet Explorer of internet. Like Satellite,
or the AOL,
the AOL of no. It is quite literally the Internet Explorer of internet. That's exactly what Satellite is,
but
except for Starlink. With respect, Mr. Musk, please don't cancel our show.
No, we would love to
come on our show. You know what, Elon? Come on the show. Come on the show. Help us out. We're a small time outfit. We are little players on the board. We would love to be big time players and having some clout, some star clout.
I don't even want that. I just want to have a cool conversation.
I would like to have a cool conversation with Elon, but I honestly, the brain children who are part of Elon's circle, those are the people that I'd want to have the conversation. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Elon is an interesting person. I think that he would be a very dynamic conversation. I saw him on the Rogan podcast. I've seen him on other podcasts. He's a very interesting human being. And his story is unique. But I would love to to the people that he surrounded himself with these great ideas and have helped his businesses. Those are the people I want to have that conversation. And it's like the Steve Wozniaks. Those are the people that I want to talk. I don't want to talk to Steve Jobs.
That's the thing, was that because Gage was asked.
Is it Rob Wozniak? What was his name?
It
wasn't Steve Wozniak.
No, it was
I think it was Rob. Bill Wozniak. Whatever. Wozniak. I know that's what his name
is. When Gates was being interviewed and talked about, like, is Elon the new Steve Jobs or whatever, and he's like, well, I know them both. He goes, Steve was a salesman. Steve, had a thing. He could do his thing. He was marketing was his thing. He whatever. He was like, Elon is an engineer.
Yes. And Elon's very smart. Like, don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
From an engineer standpoint, on
unique problem solving. Have you seen there's a meme, and it's it's like balance all the spoons so they don't touch the table, and there's like a handful of spoons or forks or whatever, or it might have been balance all the silverware, and then it's like physics majors have it like sitting in like a very perfect and precise way, right? But the engineer literally like stabbed the knife into the table, right? And then like rubber banded all the rest of the silverware to it. So it was all like sitting like this. There's a difference between engineer and physics. Engineers like, I don't need to waste a lot of time. Zip, 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 zip. Done. It works. I thought it was hilarious. But that's the difference between, people like that. That's how engineers look at the problem, and that's how physics people are. Well, we can balance it, make it look pretty, and engineers like, I don't care if it looks pretty, it works.
No. It has to be functional.
Right. Just functional, as long as it's functional, which is, I'm pretty sure what happened to 76 is all of their software engineers were like, listen, it just works. And then, of course, that was overheard. Yeah. And then Todd Howard went on stage and said it.
Speaking of which, 76.
Not too much. We were overwhelming the 76 conversation.
They have announced that they are opening up more stuff. Like, you can actually leave Appalachia.
Yeah. So the pit will be launching in the fall. The next one up is the new scoreboard, and it's, I believe, Test Your Metal, I think, is the next one. And that's actually the dome. It might be called the Iron Dome, or the I don't know. It might just be called the Dome, or just Iron Dome or something like that. But anyways, it will be like a Coliseum type event where you literally fight robots for money and different prizes, and I'm sure rare plans and whatever. But that's going to be the next thing that happens. And then after that, in the fall, is Back to the Pit, which apparently is going to be, you complete tasks to fuel the vertibird, and the vertibird takes you to the pit, which golden opportunity, because there's literally a location in Fallout 76 called Ohio State or Ohio River Adventures that serves no purpose. Zero. None. All you had to do was have a boat. Just a boat.
I mean, it worked in 3.
Yeah.
To get you to
it worked in Far Harbor for Fallout 4. Boats are a thing. Literally have a boat sitting there, and you do the exact same thing. Missions, fuel the boat, And then the boat goes right up the Ohio River, I guess, and goes straight to Pittsburgh. It literally leads directly to it. It's the Allegheny, the Ohio, and then Manahawk, whatever. I never remember the third one, but literally 3 rivers. Magic. And then, nope, let's use a vertibird. Oh my God, you're so lazy.
On that note,
sorry,
the heat is
heat is on.
Tremendous. We are coming from the Pit of Tartarus.
We are broadcasting to you live from the surface of the sun. So,
but on this note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up before I
you melt
consciousness.
Yes.
And
I draw dicks on your forehead.
But want to say,
I'll still call 911
if you are looking for help with leadership, getting your
public speaking.
That if you need pointers and wanting to develop your leadership style, getting how things are doing, but you're a geek like us.
That's true. We are geeks.
You could totally go to Starfleet Leadership.Academy, and you can get a whole leadership course. Well, it's not really a course. It's a podcast. Every week takes on a whole new aspect of leadership. He talks about the different stuff, and it's all couched in.
Listen, if you assemble all of the messages that he delivers over the course of the podcast, you could make an entire leadership course.
Well, yeah,
a Starfleet leadership course. You could pilot your own starship.
He couches.
We could kill them. I mean, wait, no, sorry, wrong movie.
So he couches all of the stuff and gives you like examples from different Star Trek. And we're like, okay, Picard in this instance used this type of thing, and here's how you can get it in and do whatever.
So will he teach me how to see the lights?
There are 4 lights.
I think there were
5. But go check them out. Starfleet Academy or Starfleet Leadership.Academy. I always want to jump that .academy soon. Too fast. But
that's okay. You were right there with it. Starfleet Leadership.Academy. Great place to go. Great podcast. The individuals behind that podcast do a great job. Audio's mixed well, in my opinion. I think it sounds pretty good. So overall, I think they do a nice job over there. And they have substantive courses or substantive, good God, substantive topics of conversation and in a very relatable geek Starfleet way. And I like it. So it's Starfleet Leadership.Academy. Make sure you guys can check them out. And again, special thanks to them for being our sponsor.
Thank you very much.
You guys are phenomenal as always. Again, before we leave, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Help us beat the dreaded YouTube algorithm. Help us beat back the chains of oppression against the monotonous forces of evil as they work their way in their tendrils into the threads of society. Help us destroy them. Anyways, I didn't want to Alex Jones rant too much there, but if you guys could do us a big favor, make sure to like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, and then just tune in next week, man. Same bad time, same bat channel. I've been Crazy Chris.
Right here, we're gonna hang out and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some fun. Fun.
Turn the frogs and do the thing.
We will see you guys later.
Later, guys. Peace.